and most people have their cameras off, which is great, no problem. I just want to let you know that we are recording, so I'm going to dismiss that. After dealing with talking about the argument essay and dealing with other issues, I am going to we're going to move on to the mythology unit, and we're going to start doing stuff there. I'm going to try and share my screen and share the PowerPoint, hopefully. I hope this is the right one. No, that's not it. Just stop that. That's the L one. Share this one. There we go. All right, as it loads up, there we go. So has anybody looked at the PowerPoint yet, of the assignment yet? All right, for most of us, this is, well, first of all, has anybody, what do you guys know about mythology in general?
Sometimes has to do with gods.
Yes, a lot of it is about gods and goddesses. Obviously, Greek mythology is dealing with the mythology, the gods and goddesses, and stories of the Greek culture. And yeah, so we're going to be talking a lot about that, and obviously they have a huge impact on humans, and a lot of them are creation stories. A lot of them are stories that explain how things came to be, like the light and the dark, or fire. Can't display content. All right, let's try it again. If I need to, maybe I'll go through Teams and see if it works that way. Miss Bosman, can you see my screen?
I can see your screen.
Okay. Love technology.
Has anyone seen a movie that deals with Greek gods?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which movie?
Titans, I think. The Clash of
Percy Jackson.
Oh yeah. Did anyone say Clash of the Titans?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite films.
Percy Jackson's pretty cool. It's a good little.
Where's that showing right now?
Percy Jackson.
Yeah, is that on Netflix? Where would I find that?
Not sure. You know, sometimes it's on like the cable channels, like TNT or TBS.
Okay.
They'll show that.
Okay.
All right. Is this not going to let me do a slideshow? Awesome. Let me close that. Okay, let me cancel that. Let's go into student view. Maybe hopefully that'll work. Let's do it this way. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, so as you can see, now that's the L's. How come I have the L's posted up here? Oh, because I'm in Mr. Weiss's class. Great. There's a version for the general classes, and then there's a version for my English language learners. So that's why I'm bouncing out of that page and going back into you guys is the Berenstein and Bosmond page. Apologies for the delay in all this. But anyway, mythology, we're going to do 4 weeks on this. We're starting with an introduction and 2 mythology stories, the story of Prometheus and how humans got fire, received fire, and then the story of Echo and Narcissus. And again, the idea is in these stories, we learn lessons and there's themes and messages that relate to human behavior that we'll start talking about under a central idea. So central idea, how many of you guys have you guys learned that in E1 and E2, I'd imagine, maybe even before that?
Yep.
In middle school. So again, this may not be new. It may just be a review of what to do and what to look for in terms of that. Yeah, that'll be what we'll be focusing on over the next 4 weeks, plus like literary elements, characterization, and conflict, and stuff like that. Characterization and conflict, that's like the fork and knife of English literature analysis. Basically, if you know how to use a fork and you know how to use a knife, you can cut into any meal. If you know how to use characterization, if you know how to use conflict and talk about it and explain it, you can start to analyze any piece of English writing, story, poetry, plays, and you'll have the tools that you need. And there's many other literary elements. We'll be using a few others as we go, but those are our main ones: the fork and the knife, and maybe the spoon of setting, if you will. Um, yeah, so that's our first week is this, and then the weeks 2 through 4 we'll be reading the play Oedipus Rex. We will give you the materials for that. Let's worry about that later, because obviously there's so much on our plate with the argument essay to finish, and then this to do for this week and probably a little bit of next week. But that's kind of generally how it's going to set up. This is the PowerPoint for the lesson. So you should be looking when you open up your own version. Look both at the PowerPoint and at the Word document, because you'll write your answers mostly in the Word document, but a lot of the setup and stuff is in your PowerPoint. So if you haven't done that yet, you'll want to do that and follow along with us today. So the do now, which is the do now for the entire lesson, gives this quote and it sort of explains what's happening with the Greek gods. The Greek gods had personalities like those of humans and struggled with one another for position and power. They did not love humans, although some had favorites, and did not ask to be loved by them. They did not impose codes of behavior. They expected respect and honor, but could act contrary to human needs and desires. So again, in Greek mythology, in these stories that become mythology, we have the behavior of the gods. Sometimes they're well liked, and sometimes they're not. Sometimes the same god has different, or goddess has different relationships with the others and with the humans in the story. So what does this mean to you? What do you find interesting about Greek mythology? Ms. Bosmond, maybe you want to lead a conversation on that for a minute or two, if any of the students have any answers for that. You're on mute. Ms. B, you're on mute. You're on mute.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I'm
What
sure
do we
that won't
find
be the last time.
Okay, so what do we find interesting about Greek mythology?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll start with my own answer. I What I find most interesting, this was before anyone knew about religions of Judaism, Christianity, and the people they found their own gods and understanding of things that didn't make sense to them. I think this is something very poetic, and I think there's just an openness to it. I think that we later on became a little more stifled about what religion is. But what I love about Greek mythology, it allows you to be open, and it gives you so many. It allows you to also have an imagination with it as well. I mean, I love all things Greek, from ancient Greek plays to mythology, and that's why I asked, have any of you ever seen a film because a lot of you know more than you actually think you do about mythology. So I will open up to what your answer might be.
I have an answer.
Go ahead, Kamaya.
Okay, so this is not really like it's also an educated answer, but the first reason why it really attracts me is the art of the gods and everything. It just really intrigues me and it makes me feel I don't know, it just makes me feel really good. I like the art that they make, and also the myths and the gods and everything, hearing their stories and the origins, it is really intriguing. So that's what I like.
Great. Thank you for your answer. I really appreciate
That
it.
was a great answer.
Who else? So what else do you guys think about, or what do you find interesting about Greek mythology is the question we're discussing. Liana, what do you think?
I think that
even though they didn't know anything about like fire and why people loved each other, they made gods for it, like because they didn't know. So
Mhm.
that's what I
Yeah,
found interesting.
go ahead.
I said that's what I found interesting.
Answers. Hold on. Uh, can you guys see me? I'm back in there.
I can see you.
All right, there we go. See, that's the second blip of the day. We had I don't know if I didn't even feel like a brownout there, but like I definitely lost internet connection and got back in. So sorry about that. Hopefully I'm still recording here. Looks like I am. Anyway, I was going to say I agree with Leanna. I feel like most societies are looking for, especially when they're building early civilizations and early history, there's these creation stories. Some of them are oral traditions, some are written, where you're looking for to explain how things happen, what happens. And, most societies do have some version of that. So for me, Greek mythology, I actually didn't like mythology a lot. Um, as I started reading and such. But then I became a comic book fan, as most people know at this point already. Um, and I feel like there's that connection between comics and mythology. That there's a lot of the connection in the powers, especially, but also personalities. And there's this these mythic heroic stories sometimes. Um, some conflicting stories, between the gods or between the heroes. So once I started thinking about it that way, I got into it a lot more. And so even today, modern, like people mentioned Percy Jackson. There's other types of modern storytelling versions of the mythologies, that kind of connected in that way, and that made it easier for me to get into it. So yeah, that's how it works for me. All right, guys, very good. Miss Bosman, can you see my screen again? The central idea slide should be up.
Yes, I certainly see it.
All right, awesome. All right, so quick review, guys, for everybody who's here and
Now,
anybody
let
watch.
me know if you want me to read anything. I just
Yeah,
so
please. If you want to read the general description of the central idea, that'd be awesome.
sure.
Thank
The
you.
central idea can be best described as the universal generic truth found in a story. Central idea is a lesson learned, a message that the reader can relate to, a complete sentence. The central idea central idea is not a summary of the story or passage, have characters' names, and it does not have an incomplete sentence. Something to help you remember topic plus insight equals central idea. Did you want me to read the examples?
Sure, if you want.
Sure. Central idea examples. Examples of central ideas sometimes found in literature. Example. Sometimes life gives us what we need rather than what we want. Sometimes decisions have unintended consequences. Sometimes leaving your community can have benefits.
Okay, so yeah, thank you for that, Ms. Bosman. And again, I think the major things on this slide that you can point at and just know going in for everybody is this idea of the lesson learned, the message, and usually it's more than a cliche. It's not just like what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
because
Well,
that's
two wrongs doesn't make a right. I got that a
right.
lot last year.
Right. These are generic truths, right? They can be found in the story, but it's very simplified. What we're looking for is a topic of the story, an insight about it. And there's more than one usually. Central idea does not have to be just one central idea in a story or a poem. There can be multiple ones, multiple lessons, multiple messages that we can find from a story. So just using the first example, sometimes life gives us what we need rather than what we want. We can talk about in a story if a character, let's say a character falls in love with someone and that love is not requited, is not responded to, but then they find someone else who um, who fulfills them and it truly makes them happy, right? The central idea of that would be sometimes life gives us what we need rather than what we want, which is also a Rolling Stones song. Rolling Stones, a very, very older band. I don't know if anybody even gets that reference anymore, but they had a song where it says, sometimes you don't get what you want, you get what you need. Um, anyway, if I'm writing about the central idea, I'm putting it in this more general way, but it's not summarizing the story. It's actually giving us the why of the story. What's the lesson we learned? I'm not mentioning the characters' names, but I could do that for follow-up sentences and kind of explain how that connects to what I said was the central idea. If you need more information on central idea, you can watch this video here. Mr. Hennefield, who is a ninth grade teacher. Did anybody have Mr. Hennefield last year?
Me.
Okay, so you may have seen this already, but he likes to do his music videos and stuff like that. So that is a central idea music video for you to watch if you want more insight. Any questions on central idea right now?
I have a question.
Sure.
The examples, it says sometimes in front of it. Do we always put sometimes?
Oh, no, not always. I think whoever was, because I didn't do these examples, whoever's doing that just kind of maybe got into a pattern here. No, you don't have to put sometimes. When we talk about stuff like always and never, you don't really want to use qualifier like it is universal truths, but things don't always fit. It doesn't always happen that life gives us what we need rather than we want. It doesn't always happen that decisions have unintended consequences. On the other hand, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. You need, when you're writing your central idea, to write the word sometimes as a qualifier. No. You can just say life gives us what we need rather than what we want. That's fine too.
Okay.
Good. So that's a great example of a question from you all that does really help us because that's something like I didn't even realize people would have thought about, and that helps us to address something again unintended. So thank you for that. Let's see if I can advance the slide. Okay, so we give you this fable. We're not going to spend too much time on this because I'd actually rather start to move into the which Greek gods are you quiz and give you guys time to do that and share our answers in the time we have. But we give you this central idea practice, and in your Word document, you should read this in full and then answer the central idea question. Basically, this is a fable. Mythologies and fables are not the same, but they are connected. They do kind of have this general sense of, when you read a fable like the lion and the mouse, or the frog and the scorpion, that kind of stuff. There's these lessons that we learn that you can get the central idea out from them. So this is the ants and the grasshopper, and you can read that on your own time and answer the central idea and give us the reason why you think it's the correct central idea. All right. So if we're splitting things up day by day, then today what you should be doing after this class, or after your other classes and you have time today, or whenever you do have time, this would be like the second part of the lesson. And there's two major activities. One is this documentary, which gives you the basics on the gods, and then not just the gods, but like the top tier gods in Greek mythology. Obviously, when you think of mythology gods, Zeus is a big part of it. And so this video does spend a lot of time on Zeus, also his dad Kronos. And it's really sort of like the creation story of the Titans, which are that top tier, that S level for my video game people, the S rank gods who are really like when we think of these stories, these are the first ones we really do think of. And there's a lot of good stuff in the documentary. It's about 48 minutes, but you can only, if you watch the first 20 minutes, you can really get a just general sense of what we do. If we were in a normal classroom, I would only be showing you the first 20 minutes anyway. And then there's notes, a place for notes on the next two slides. So in your PowerPoint, we will be looking at your PowerPoint when we do grade these lessons eventually. There's these tables, these response tables, you will be able to edit in the document. I can't because I'm on full screen right now, but you will be able to write in your response to what did you learn, what connections can you make, and what questions do you have. So, you know, when you look at and watch that movie, it's on Daily Motion, it's free video. So you should be able to click on it, no problem. You have Cronus, or sometimes it's spelled here with a C, sometimes with a K. It really doesn't matter either way. Rhea, the wife of Cronus, Zeus, Poseidon, Hera, Apollo, Hades, Olympia, Typhon, Cyclops, and the Hundred-Handed Ones. These are people who are gods, rather, not people, gods, that are mentioned in the first 20 minutes of the film, so everything should be able to be filled out here. Fatal flaws of gods: sometimes they seduce women or have trickery, fear of losing power, jealousy, vengeance, betrayal. What do you learn about these things? What's important about it? What's mentioned about it? A couple notes in there. Biblical similarities: flood, two mortals surviving on the ark, eternal souls, sacrifice of God's children. These are things that are in the Bible, and it doesn't even matter which religion. Usually, especially in the Judeo-Christian religions, these are pretty much common. So again, you're just writing connections. Are there connections? What do you see that are connections to? And just going through that list. Okay. And then this is something we can do right now. We'll take about 3 to 5 minutes just for fun. If you haven't done this yet, I'd like you to do it now with us. And I'll do it on the screen, and you can do it on yours. This is the which Greek god are you post. So this is like those personality quizzes that sometimes are on, you know, websites and stuff like that. You post on, you click on this link, or you type in kids.nationalgeographic.com. And there's also the link in the Teams pages. I put a post up there. So you can take a minute to find that and click on that. And you can find out which god you are by answering the questions. And post your answer on your Teams page. And if you believe the answer you received is true or not. So I'm just going to X out here for a second. And I'm going to see if I can do that here. Okay, just want to close here. I'm going to see if I can share again. Okay, Ms. Bosmond, can you see this? All right, so if you see on each team's page, doesn't matter which one you belong to, although maybe Ms. Bosman, I don't know if your students have this separately, but you can just go into the lesson and do this also. I click on this link. Hopefully it'll open up. And the Greek god quiz will open, yes. It might take a second to load up. Okay, so we're gonna start. I'll show you how I would answer mine, and then we'll give you guys a few minutes to do it for yourself. So how would your friends describe your personality? Most people would say I'm generous, I think. What color are my eyes? My eyes are blue. Actually, my eyes are kind of a bluish green, but I would say blue. because the blue-green is not an option here. Which object would you most likely to be found with? So swimming, boating gear, musical instrument, a snack, a book, the latest gadget, a video game. Well, I'm an English teacher, so although I wouldn't say, I mean, I don't know about swimming or boating gear. I definitely would never be having that. I'm not a swimmer or a boater. The other 5 are plausible, although I can't play music that well. But I'm going to go with a book. Which of these animals is your favorite? I think I picked dolphin, so I'm going to pick dolphin again.
I picked dolphin too.
Did you? Yeah, I like dolphins. My sister actually, I don't know if I probably have mentioned this. My sister's a vet, and she's done travels and trips, and she actually got to, do that thing where you're in the pool with the dolphins and feed them food and stuff. We have awesome pictures of that. It's really cool. Okay.
Wow.
What is your ideal vacation? Park, mountains, countryside, the forest, the big city, the beach. The beach. I love the beach. I have pale skin. I burn easily, but I love the beach. What scares you? Coming in last place, being too far from the beach, running out of popcorn. Oh, I wish. Not being listened to, not knowing the answer, sunburn. Being too far from the beach doesn't scare me. I don't mind if I'm not at the beach. I just would rather be at the beach. Not knowing the answer sometimes scares me, but I'm afraid of sunburn. Choose a symbol. Okay. I think I chose, so you have the harp, the trident, the lightning bolt, the bow and arrow, the tree, and wheat. These are all classic symbols of mythology. Obviously, when you think of the lightning bolt, you think of Zeus. The trident is Poseidon. The harp is usually Apollo, I believe. Bow and arrow is Athena, and so on and so forth. Wheat is a laurel. It's like more like a laurel, I think, but whatever. I'm gonna go.
I picked bow and arrow.
Oh, awesome. I picked tree. So, and then which season is your favorite is the last question. Summer, fall, winter, spring. I like them all. I don't care. I like Miss Bosmond. What's your favorite season?
Summer, because I like beach weather.
All right. Yeah, I like summer too because of summer vacation. Ah, I got Poseidon. Usually I thought I got Zeus last time, so maybe I answered differently somehow. All right.
That's exactly what I got, but our answers are similar. So
Yeah.
it doesn't surprise me.
And it gives you a little bit of a detail here. There's nothing better than kicking back and relaxing near the sun and surf. You're beside the God seas. You know that nothing erases worries like a quick dip in the ocean or in a lake or in a pool. You see the wonder in the places that most people overlook. And you can retake the quiz if you want, but that's how that's done. So did anybody have a chance to do that just now, or do you guys want a few minutes to do the quiz and then we'll come back and get our answers? What do you guys think?
I did it.
Cool. Kamaya, what did you get?
I got Apollo.
Apollo. And what are the
Wow.
what do they say was Apollo's major personality traits? And do you think that's similar or different to what you to what you're like?
So he's a god of music and a creative type, like painting or gazing out the window. I think I'm the same. I like looking at the sky. Like I like taking pictures of like good scenery and stuff. Sometimes I go on Pinterest and just look at images that I like and find fascinating.
Awesome. Pinterest is cool. I have an account. I don't go on there as often as I should, but that's really cool for pictures and stuff. It's like a good resource also for stuff if you want to collect things. You can see other people's stuff. All right, cool. Thank you. So there we go. We got an Apollo. Who else got Apollo if you took the quiz yet? Or should we give you guys, how many people need more time for that? Or if anybody wants time on that.
I need some time.
Okay, Jennifer, good. All right, so why don't we take about 2 minutes, and in the meantime, we'll just take any other questions that you guys have, if you have questions. I will go back to sharing the page so you can see the web page.
Marshall got Zeus.
Zeus, awesome, Michelle. Yeah, I got Zeus last time too. I don't know why my answer was different this time. Maybe it's based on some of the things that you answered. Maybe I answered it differently than I remembered.
Yeah.
Okay, so Michelle, maybe you want to put in the chat whether or not you think that's accurate to your personality or not. Zeus is the leader, the take charge type, confident. All right. So, and again, the website is kids.nationalgeographic.com/games /personality dash quizzes slash which dash Greek dash God dash are you dash. The link is in the Teams pages. Okay. Not accurate. Okay. Sometimes, with these personality quizzes, sometimes they're dead on and sometimes they're just like, no, what are you talking about? It reminds me, the those old game, the paper things that you do where you fold up and you kind of do the numbers and then you open it up and there's your fortune. Yeah.
Yeah. I just took the quiz again and I got Poseidon again, so maybe that's
Okay.
just who I am. Yeah.
There you go.
That's true to who I am. I'm also a Pisces, so we're the water people. Yeah.
I'm a Leo, so yeah, and my first name, since everybody knows my first name at this point anyway, since it's all up on our video screens and anyway, my first name in Hebrew means lion, so Leo obviously is a lion, and unintentionally my first name means lion as well. All right.
That's pretty. I like that.
Yeah, and I feel like my power symbols are a lion and a bear, since my last name is Berenstein. It's very fortuitous. Not that I read that much into that kind of stuff, but sometimes it's actually pretty on point.
Yeah. And sometimes just simply fun.
Yeah. Um, who just came in? I just saw somebody jump in for a second, and then I missed it. So if I missed you, I'm sorry. Let me get the list here. Omarion is in. Hey, what's up, Omarion? If I didn't say hello to you yet, I apologize for that. Miss Donacia, yes, welcome in. And Madison just jumped in. All right, hello.
This will make attendance a lot easier too. And
I hope so. Man, attendance is a mother, all right, so people just jumping in. We just gave a few minutes to do the which Greek god are you quiz. Let me reshare that. I am having some internet slowdown here. Uh-oh. Yeah. I apologize if my internet's a little bit slow, my video's stuttering. Doesn't usually happen. I think it's either the bad weather or some of the power things that have happened today. All right. So guys, just coming in, people just coming in. On your Teams page, you have, the attendance post. Make sure you're doing that. You have the what's happening today post, and then you have the which Greek god are you post here with the link from the lesson. You can just click on that. When you click on that, it takes you to the quiz. It asks you some personality questions, and then what you should do is you should respond here, like I am right now. I got Poseidon. I like the seas and the beach, especially for relaxing. All right. And if you guys can take a few minutes to share when you do this on the post results board, that would be appreciated. And you can do that throughout the day. I'm just going to take you to, just to show you guys, I have all these different class pages. You don't have all of these, but I do. Ms. Bosmond does too. And each class teams page is the same. We put the same information in. So again, you can see already in this class, a lot of people are sharing. Keith, I am determined, but I can easily lose focus. Ohan got Artemis. He constantly sets goals and is determined to achieve them. Jennifer, thank you for posting, Jennifer. Got Athena. She suits me since I like to share some fun facts with family and friends, and I like a good book. Hey, welcome to the English Club, the English Lit Club. There we go. Ohan responded, and he retook it and got Zeus. Yeah, you could probably retake the test, and depending on what you answer, we'll get different answers. But just try to be genuine to your personality. So it's just a little fun little diversion to do. And again, appreciate you guys. I'm going to try and jump around to other teams here and see if anybody else posted. Go to my period 5 and our period 7 class and see if anybody did that. And if not, we'll move on very quickly, just kind of wrap everything up in a bow since we're kind of drawing to the close of this. All right, so no one showed up there yet. When you get your answer, you can post. And Miss Bosmond, did anybody answer in the chat while I wasn't looking? Okay, Nathan wrote he's Athena. Juan Carlos got Artemis. Very good.
Michelle didn't believe hers was accurate about her personality.
Cool. All right, I'm going to jump out of here. Hopefully get back into the main teams page. Again, things are kind of laggy here, so I'm sorry if I missed your comment or question. Casey, is it Casey? I see your hand is up. Do you want to unmute and you can answer? You can ask a question, Casey.
Yeah, I don't think I'm in that period 1 channel.
Yeah, are you with Miss Bosman?
You're with me, Casey.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So yeah, you'll be able to find that in the PowerPoint that Miss Bosman included in her team's page.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, and again, you're obvious and you're obviously welcome to share as well when you get your answer. Again, we have students from not just my line, my remote only kids, but we have the students here from Miss Bosman and I's shared classes, and we have Miss Bosman's classes as well.
Yes,
so everyone is welcome in here. Yeah.
Right. And some of my kids are still working on their essays, so I believe a lot of them haven't had a chance to look at it as of yet.
That's fine. That's just a by way of introduction and just to kind of have a little bit of fun, because I know it's a little bit tough to have fun.
And this was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I love the quiz.
A little something, All right. So we got about 15 minutes of class time left. I don't know if we'll use all of it. I do just want to run through quickly the rest of the PowerPoint and then take any final questions. But before that, Ms. Bosman, was there anything else you wanted to say?
Or should we say hello to Ms. Fernandez?
Okay, good.
I didn't see her. Hello, welcome.
And if you if you can handle the chat, if anybody says anything, because when I go full screen, I can't see.
I got you.
Yeah. All right, so I will jump back in to. I just generally use the period 1 class because it's just easiest. But again, all class teams pages are the same for Berenstein and Bosmond's class pages that I build out. I try to put everything in everything. So let's go back into the assignment. Let's go back to Mythology, back to student view. It's a lot of extra stuff to get to the same place. Okay. So we went through all this stuff earlier. If you guys jumped in late, you can just catch the stream of this or the video recap. Again, the most important thing for today, if you're splitting this up, is to go to this link on Daily Motion. And again, it's a free video. Just watch the first 20 minutes. You can watch more if you want, but make sure you do that and then take the notes on the next 2 slides. You can edit in the document, so you can answer that. We just did this. And then if you're on pace, I mean, obviously, if you're doing the argument essay, Ms. Bosmond just said some people are finishing up, catching up on that. That's fine. That's due on Friday. And then you can do mythology. But if you're up to mythology and you're on pace and you're kind of breaking this up days, you can split up the work into days. Then tomorrow and Thursday and Friday, you should be reading the mythology stories that we've included here. The 2 stories as an introduction. Story 1 is Prometheus. Story 2 is Echo and Narcissus. When you're reading the myths, read the questions that are in the boxes before reading it to kind of see what's happening in the story, and it's a good guide to know what to annotate, to answer questions, to write notes, and always, after reading the myth stories, we're going to ask for central idea. Again, a universal truth or message, a piece of evidence from the myth that supports the central idea. So remember, central idea when you start. The central idea revealed in the story does not have character names, but when you're writing your response paragraph, later in that paragraph, you can start using the characters as evidence and the actions that they do as evidence. And then connect it to the lesson that is learned in the story. So you're going to do that for both mythologies in the story. The story Prometheus. We did include some links to YouTube videos that are not word for word. They're simplified versions, but they are going to tell you the stories of these myths. And once you watch those, you can also take a look at the story in the Word document. That's Echo and Narcissus, or Narcissus. And in the story of Narcissus, just very quickly, there is a real flower called the Narcissus flower, that was named after this. So this is a real thing that they named after. And I think that's the 12. And then there's the connection about Narcissus. You can read that on your own if you want, but generally that gives you a summary of it. And again, you're doing central idea. I'm going to close that very quickly. And I did this in the Monday meeting video for those of you in the shared classes. But I just want to open this up for anybody who's here, and then we'll take questions. Again, when you open up your assignment, you have the immersive reader option that it can read it out to you. You also can do that on the instructions page as well. You can also translate it into any language if you want. But for us, if you just feel like you need some, if you don't, there are some students in the last year when we started to transition, they're like, it's a lot to read. And I said, well, you can use this tool and you can have it read to you like an audiobook. So if you're someone who likes audiobooks, that can work. And so, there we go. I was afraid I just froze for a second, but I did not freeze. So again, if you follow, Prometheus is split into 3 parts, so you can give yourself maybe a break after every part, or if you like to read all at once, you can read it all at once. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. Central idea box, and the story of Echo and Narcissus. So again, you should plan for 2 days for the Prometheus story and 1 day for Echo and Narcissus. Or if you're someone who likes to do this all at once, just go for it, go nuts, get it done, finish it up. And again, the pacing schedule is up on the main board for my students, and then also here in the assignment page for everyone. Okay, so I'm going to close this. I'm going to go back to the main Teams meeting section here. Hey, everybody. Okay, so here's what we'll do. Let's stop here for a minute. What questions do you guys have about anything that we've done today, you can either unmute yourself or you can write your question in the chat. What things are you confused about? What things do you want Ms. Bosmond and I to reemphasize?
Anyone?
Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank you all for being here this morning. Ms. Bosman, any final words before we let them go? I want to make sure you have an opportunity to say anything to your students that you might think is important.
Yes. Please take the opportunity when we open the floor to you to answer or ask any questions that you may have. I mean, I know some of you will send me a text later today, and that's fine. You know, I'm always on, but don't let your shyness keep you from asking questions, because I guarantee you, you ask one question, we all need that question answered. So please don't be shy.
I'm really appreciative. I think we heard from a lot of people today, which is great. I'm really happy to hear from, especially, people willing to share a little bit about themselves and their personality from that quiz. And then, like you said, asking questions. There were some good questions earlier to this class as well. So yeah, I'm really happy. Again, we're in such a different learning environment here that sometimes maybe it feels intimidating to talk, but your voice is just as important as ours, even though I do tend to talk and talk and talk, because partially because as a teacher that's what I do, and then also just to kind of fill in the awkwardness of the time. But by no means are we trying to just kind of dominate the conversation. You guys and your opinions, your thoughts about all this is valid, and we definitely want to hear more from you guys. We're going to try and find other ways to incorporate your voice, but please speak up, speak out. This is your learning environment as well. This is your chance to speak out and help. But I mean, I understand. I'll just close with this. Even in college, I didn't quite understand. We had this professor in an English class, and he was like a genius professor. And he would always stop and say, and like he expected people to talk. And this is a class of like, it was a large seminar, like 150 kids, 150 students, college students. Um, Nobody said a word until like the next to last week or the last week of the classes, where people finally started speaking up. But everybody was so intimidated because he was like such a genius. And not that I'm saying I'm a genius or Miss Bosman. Miss Bosman is definitely a genius. But like, but definitely if you're feeling shy, that's cool. But if you have a question, please feel free to speak out on something. We'll definitely deal with it. But again, we heard from a lot of students today. I'm really appreciative, especially Kamaya, Jennifer. Who else shared? So a couple of people shared. Michelle shared on the chat. So thank you all. And again, we'll be back on Thursday, same time, 8:30 to 9:45. Again, if you're want to reach out via chat, you can do that as well. All right, guys. So I'm going to stop recording here, and this will be uploaded at some point, hopefully during the day. And we'll see you next time.